Australia. The WA Star has won.
Welcome to Greyhound Gossip, featuring Peter O'Neill. This is where we take a look at the WA greyhound racing scene, keeping a close look at what is happening on and off the track.
Keep an eye on the clock. She is brilliant, Miata. She stops the clock, 36.55, a new track record. And a very good morning, everyone. What an exciting time it is for greyhound racing here in Western Australia. We have the running of the 2024 Sandgroper coming up on Thursday night at Cannington. It's the first part of the Tab Touch Western trilogy. Last year, of course, Crumble Manelli defeating Momentum, Elite Machine finishing third, and Electrified back in fourth. And what a field we had last year, of course, the star of Australian greyhound racing. Wow, she's fast, came across for Jackie Greeno. She's back again this year. And, of course, the other outstanding greyhound was Victor Damien, who was in outstanding form for Lisa Rasmussen, who will be taking out the final this year. It's an outstanding race, and we had the pre-post market up for the final, and we saw a change on Saturday night after Explicit trialled in 29.77, and a big move for Big Energy, $3.20. Equal favourites for the Tab Touch Sandgroper on Thursday night. Now, our two stewards, we're about to do the box draw, and we welcome all of our friends through the Tab Radio Twitter and also the feed through Facebook. And it's going to be a big week here in WA. Straight after the box draw, we'll have the markets up for Tab Touch, and look forward to having David Shortte joining us in a few moments' time as well to discuss the box draw. This is very important. And our two integrity stewards, Graham O'Day, who's the chief steward for the racing department here in WA, and Cameron Kerr, his deputy chief steward, joining us, and they will conduct the box draw. The Sun Chaser field has been drawn for the meeting on Thursday night, and so therefore the two reserves will be Uncle Tommy West on Booney. Uncle Tommy West on Booney will join the field if there are any scratchings, and that will be up to the slot holders. So Morton for Tab Touch, Explicit for Punters HQ, Big Energy for Mint Bet, Hector Fawley for Ladbrokes, Fernando Phil Sports Bet, Trooper Tears for Total Container Solutions and Team Britain, Mapunga Smoky for Ram Racing Syndicate, and Sunset Frazier for Aaron Bain Racing and Summit Bloodstock. Good luck to all of the connections, all of the slot holders. The box draw is about to take place. Kelly Sarich from Racing and Wagering WA is assisting the two gentlemen with our box draw this morning. So Graham and Cameron will be drawing out a greyhound's name and also the box draw for the Sandgroper. And we get underway right now. So the first greyhound to be drawn out for the Sandgroper comes up with Hector Fawley, who comes up with box number 6 for Ladbrokes. Hector Fawley, a greyhound who won the Hume Cup, trialled in 29.45 on Saturday. A greyhound who ran fourth in the Rookie Rebel and ran second in the Group 3 shootout. Fernando Phil comes up with box number 5. Fernando Phil for Sportsbet, and Michelle Malia, a greyhound who won the Group 2 Horsham Cup recently, defeating Explicit. Next greyhound out is Sunset Frazier, the only WA-trained chaser for David Hobby and the Aaron Bain Racing Syndicate. A greyhound who ran fourth in the Group 1 Perth Cup has drawn ideally in box number 3. Box number 7 goes to Trooper Tears, so the connections will be happy there for Total Container Solutions and Team Britain. They were hoping for an outside draw. A greyhound who clocked a 29.39 during the Perth Cup Series. Explicit comes up with box number 8. Explicit for the Punters HQ Syndicate. Draws on the outside of Trooper Tears, so will we have a new favourite now that Explicit's drawn box number 8? Mapunga Smoky comes up with box number 4 for the Ram Racing Syndicate. Mapunga Smoky finishing third in the Group 1 Perth Cup a few weeks ago. Box 1, Big Energy. Wow, there's your new favourite for Mint Bet. They'll be doing cartwheels at the moment, so Big Energy draws box number 1. And Kelly, just before, let's make this official, the last one out is Morton for Tab Touch and draws box number 2. So that is a big move. We saw Big Energy trial in 29.25. Just before we let the two stewards, Graham O'Day and Cameron Kerr, go, I'll just go through the field for you. So Big Energy in 1, Morton in 2, Sunset Frazier 3. Mapunga Smoky 4, Fernando Phil 5, Hector Fawley in 6, Trooper Tears 7, Explicit box number 8, Uncle Tommy and West on Booney are the two emergencies. Hopefully we don't need to use those, but it is going to be a big night of greyhound racing coming up on Thursday night at Tab Touch Park, Cannington. Thanks to Graham and also to Cameron. Kelly Sarich for joining us in the studios of TAB Radio Racing and Sport. Peter O'Neill with you. That's the box draw for the Sandgroper. David Shortte is standing by online. We're about to get the market from Andrew Hamilton from Tab Touch. But Shorty, as I say, a very good morning to you. That was an exciting box draw, and it's made it very interesting. When I saw Trooper Tears draw box number 7, I thought, well, that's really going to open up the market. And then straight after, Explicit draws box number 8. And then, of course, Big Energy, who started his racing here in WA. He was bred here locally. He comes up with box number 1, and the Tab Touch runner Morton has drawn ideally in box number 2. Makes it a mouth-watering final. As I say, good morning to you. What's your first reaction straight after the box draw?
Oh, we're in for a hell of a race. Is my first reaction, Pete. Interesting. Big Energy, box 1, ideal. The dog's got excellent inside numbers on the way through. From box number 2, Morton, a big winner from the draw, a dog that has really relished inside draws. Boxes 1, 2 and 3 in its career, 5 starts for 5 wins. So Morton wanted to draw in, has drawn in. Sunset Fraser in 3 coming across, though, I guess is the potential fly in the ointment for 1 and 2. The dog has got very good early pace and will be looking to get across. Trooper Tears, the connections were hoping for 7 or 8. Well, it's drawn 7, but it has got Explicit in 8, who is a greyhound that can really hit the ground running and zoom over. So they'll be wanting to miss each other in the early stages. So while 1, 2, 7 and 8 have drawn particularly well, 7 wants to get off, 8 wants to get in, and then obviously 1 and 2 can show really good pace, but Sunset Fraser has got the potential to be working across and getting in the way of those early. And then all of a sudden it would open up for 4, 5 and 6. Mapunga Smokey, Fernando Phil, and Hector Fawley's the one dog that it won't be getting involved in any of that early hustle bustle. We know Hector is the dog that'll be getting back and charging home, and if they happen to be a bit messy through that first corner, Hector's the dog that'll be zooming right into it, hunting really hard down to the rail and then looking to steam home all over the top late. But intriguing final, Pete. Can't wait for it out there on Thursday night.
The market's going to be very interesting. Matt Nowland's in the studio with me, Shorty. And Matt, of course, you've done a lot of work and you followed these greyhounds around Australia. You made the call early for Tab Touch to gain the services of Morton. First of all, you must be rapt that he's drawn box 2.
You, Pete. Good morning, Shorty. Good morning to all of the listeners. Certainly very excited that the week is finally upon us, and to have Morton come up with the box number 2. It's very exciting. As Shorty said off the top, he's got a great record from inside barriers, but obviously Big Energy's probably advantaged him after that box draw, drawing box 1. But I think, to be honest, if we could pick this box draw ourselves, I think we'd come up with something very similar to this. So I think it certainly adds intrigue for the race. We've got Trooper Tears out in box number 7. Obviously, he wants to get off the track a bit. I was very interested, Shorty, with the comments of Joe Lanuti, RE Explicit, yesterday on the Sunday Aftermath, and they sort of were expecting him to go sort of 30 seconds. Anything better than that was a bonus. So I'm not sure if that means that dog's in really good form. He went 29.75 on Saturday night, Pete. Hector Frawley obviously went 29.45, and as Shorty said, he's going to sort of be out the back, and if there's any trouble, he'll be steaming home. But look, I can't wait for Thursday night. It's going to be fantastic, and we've drawn box 2 with Morton. I spoke to Jason Sharp this morning. He's given me all the indications that the dog is in absolutely tip-top condition. He'll fly in tomorrow evening, and let's get out there. Let's go. This is going to be massive.
All right, just before we go any further, let's go to our man from Tab Touch, Andrew Hamilton, who always puts our markets up nice and early, and he has just watched the box draw via our social media platforms. Hamo, good morning to you. This is going to be a mouth-watering final, as the boys have just mentioned, and it's made it very interesting. Big Energy in 1, Morton box number 2, Sunset Fraser in 3, Mapunga Smokey 4, Fernando Phil 5, Hector Fawley in 6, Trooper Tears in 7, Explicit in box number 8. First of all, let's go through the market. You've just been able to put up a market for us. We'll go through the market and then we'll discuss with you how you've come about that. Good morning.
Good morning, Pete. How's things?
Going very, very well indeed. What did you make of the box draw?
The box draw has been huge, obviously. I think the biggest loser, obviously, is Explicit out in box 8, and the biggest winner's Big Energy drawing the red box.
So have you got the market for us for Thursday night?
Yeah, we've got Big Energy at $2.40 from box 1. We've got Morton at $6 from the check box. Sunset Fraser $15. Mapunga Smokey and Fernando Phil, both $12. Hector Frawley, $15. Trooper Tears, $7. And Explicit now, $4.
Okay, so
the reserves, Uncle Tommy and Weston Boomer, $15 and $101 respectively.
So Explicit's been the favourite right the way throughout. We saw early on where the team from Punters HQ locked away Explicit. Jason Thompson bypassed the Golden Easter Egg Series to concentrate on this race. He won the Group 1 Temley earlier in the year. He won the Group 2 Shepparton Cup and the Horsham Cup. And we spoke with Jason not that long ago here on Greyhound Gossip. He said he wouldn't mind drawing box number 8. When he said that, he probably didn't want to draw on the outside of Trooper Tears. Is that the reason why he has gone out to $4?
Absolutely, absolutely, Peter. I don't think he could have drawn any worse with Trooper Tears on his inside, to be honest. So it's just opened the race right up, and Big Energy drawing box 1 has just made the race for him, I believe. I mean, little doubt about him being maybe a touch underdone, but the red boxes just couldn't have worked out any better for him.
Yeah, so from box number 1, Big Energy, who races for Mintbet, and of course Jackie Greeno came across last year with Wow She's Fast, and this greyhound recently flew around at Sandown in a really slick time, has got a 28.91 at Sandown and clocked a 29.25 in a solo trial here last week, has settled in really well. He's raced here, of course, before Big Energy, and from box number 1, importantly, he's had 4 starts for 3 wins, so he's currently the $2.40 favourite. What did you make of the box draw for Morton?
I don't mind it, to be honest. It just all depends how Sunset Fraser, if he jumps, there might be trouble for Morton. Obviously, might get chopped off at the start, but just hasn't jumped his last 3 or 4 starts. I just think maybe he's had enough, Sunset Fraser. I did notice in between his last couple of runs, there's been a decent variation in his weight. So whether David Hobby's got that right this week, you'd assume so. But yeah, that's obviously going to be very important at the start of the race.
So Sunset Fraser, we saw last year, and he's a master trainer, David Hobby, and he's the sole West Australian trained chaser up against the Victorian. So there'll be a lot of support for him there on Thursday night. We saw last year Crumble Manelli, a greyhound who's probably got similar racing traits to Sunset Fraser, where he's not strong over the 520 metres in the concluding stages. Get out, and there was trouble behind him. Could you see that happening again?
Yeah, I suppose you could. I mean, he'd want to be 4 or 5 lengths in front of him down the back. Otherwise, I don't think he can win. So, the thing about the race that really amazes me this year, Pete, is just how far it's come in 12 months. I mean, last year we had 2 Victorian representatives. This year we've got 7. So the race is just going to get bigger and bigger as the years go by, I imagine.
Very, very interesting indeed. Mapunga Smoky, probably well drawn considering the fact that Sunset Fraser likes to go to the fence.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you look at his run in the Perth Cup, he was very, very unlucky. So definitely got an outsider's hope, I would imagine.
And Ram Racing, they'll be certainly out there in force on Thursday night cheering loudly. Fernando Phil, what did you make of Fernando Phil's trial? 29.63 last week, a greyhound that's got a reasonable record for middle draws, and a greyhound that, of course, only recently defeated Explicit in that Horsham Cup.
Yeah, I thought the win in the Horsham Cup was full of merit, to be honest. I mean, Explicit did get checked off his heels going down the side there, but he held him well and truly in the last 150 metres, so he's not without a hope also.
Hector Fawley, a greyhound who I was really impressed with, 29.45 there on Saturday. I know it was a solo trial. A greyhound that doesn't have the best of records from box number 6 has had 5 starts for just the 1 win, but a greyhound that we know is really, really strong. Won the Hume Cup, and we saw the speed there on Saturday night, and we also saw the speed in the shootout last year behind Big Energy.
Yeah, look, if there's one dog I think that can't win after the box draw, it's probably him, to be honest. He's just going to need too much luck.
Okay, and we have to get the name changed as well on our Tab Touch site. It's been changed. Okay, so Hector Fawley, it's been able to throw a few people through this series. He's a very good chaser who has won in excess of $400,000 in stake money. Trooper Tears, I think he's ideally drawn out in box number 7. I'd be interested in your thoughts. He's currently quoted at $7. He trialled here recently in 29.63, but you saw him in that heat win of the Perth Cup. 29.39 was absolutely high flying.
Yeah, well, he's got no speed inside him, so I mean, if he can jump and get himself in a good position in the first turn, I think he's right in the race for sure.
And we heard you might not have heard, but we heard yesterday on the Sunday Aftermath where we had Joe Lanuti on, who's head of the Punters HQ, and he mentioned that they were hoping Explicit would trial 30 seconds. He went 29.77. He's a greyhound that doesn't trial well on his own. He's a outstanding champion race dog. He draws box number 8, and Jason Thompson has set this dog for this race a long time ago. So we know, with luck, he is going to be cherry ripe on Thursday night.
Yeah, look, I just think that trial, there's a big question mark over that trial. I mean, Big Energy's gone round in 29.25. He's gone round in 29.77. The 7 lengths he's almost got to find there, and even Hector Frawley's gone round in 29.44. So at this stage, I'd be happy to take him on, I've got to say.
We appreciate your time. 2 questions. When will the market go up for the remainder of the Thursday card?
I will try and have that up first thing tomorrow morning, Pete.
Okay, so first thing tomorrow morning. Thank you. Appreciate that. And the other one is, what's the biggest loser for Tab Touch in the pre-post? And obviously, we've only just put the market up after the box draw. What's our biggest loss?
Pre-post, we're standing one out the gate explicit. So just got to get the one beaten at this stage.
All right, so explicit. Hamo, thanks for joining us. Keep up the good work. You're doing a great job with Tab Touch. And as you would be, we're very excited for this final on Thursday night.
No worries. Good to chat to you, Pete.
Good on you. Andrew Hamilton from Tab Touch with the market straight up after the box draw there. Just before I let you go, Tubbsy, Matty Nowland from Tab Touch with us this morning. Of course, you'll be out there Thursday. Who would you be tipping at this stage?
Oh, geez, it's hard to go past Big Energy, but obviously my heart is with Morton. I hope this dog performs really well. He's been set for this race for quite some time, so I'll be standing on the fence cheering very loudly for Morton. I just hope it's a clean, fair race, to be honest, and I think the box draw maybe sets it up that we're going to see every dog get their chance. There doesn't appear too many that are hampered. I know Hammer just said then that potentially explicit from box 8, but I did hear in an interview with yourself and Jason Thompson a while ago, he did say that box 8 is the best box for explicit. So potentially they're happy with the draw. I know it's outside of Trooper Tears, but who knows? We're going to see potentially a different version of Trooper Tears after he's had a few looks around Cannington. So I just can't wait to get out there on Thursday. I'm cheering loudly for Morton and just wish all the contenders the best of luck. And can't wait to be out there, Pete.
Good luck to you. Matty Nowland joining us in the studios of TAB Radio as we go to the best judge in the business in David Shortte. Shorty, so you heard from Hamo there. His reasons behind the market. Big Energy was awesome last week in that trial, 29.25. We've seen a lot of greyhounds trial really quickly in race conditions. It's a different kettle of fish, but box number 1's a big plus for him.
Box 1 in any big final, Pete, is worth its weight in gold, and it's certainly a really, really nice bonus for the crew there at Mintbet and the connections. They'll be out there in force on Thursday night. It's going to be some sort of atmosphere. It's going to be absolutely spectacular, I'm sure. If you'd asked them where they wanted to draw at the start of this all, they would have taken the red over any other alternative. Just the small fly in the ointment potentially with Sunset Fraser. And while Sunset Fraser hasn't been sort of pinging to its very best in recent starts, we know this dog's capable of running an outrageous fraction. I don't know whether or not it can hang on given the quality that would be on its tail in a race like this if it got over clean, but it could then just potentially make it a fraction sticky for a greyhound like Big Energy and also Morton. But there's also a chance that either Morton or indeed off box number 1, Big Energy, just force through and hold their spot. And if they do hold up, it's the dog that really, I think, gets to the top cleanly. Most of them in that scenario in this field would be off and gone running really quick time. Box 7, I'm giving Trooper Tears a great each-way chance in this race. This dog has taken to the Cannington track, had obviously no luck off inside in that Perth Cup final, but was phenomenal on heat night, has since come back and trialled really quick, just needs room out wide on the track to wind up. Just the first maybe 20 to 30 metres of the race with Trooper Tears and Explicit is going to be really, really important for the remainder of the race. If either of those two dogs were able to get clear path and cross, the show's over. I think you'd be putting down glasses. So that's really important. And then as we touched on, those dogs now in 4, 5 and 6, normally you'd say, oh, it's horrendous. But the way things have turned out with Sunset Fraser in 3 stepping and heading to the inside, Mapunga Smoky shouldn't have any issues from the inside division. As long as it can not have any heat from Fernando Phil, we know that the greyhound in box number 6 in Hector Fawley's not going to pose any problem. So almost every dog, there's a small niggle in the back of your mind that there's potential early in the race for something to maybe just get in their way a little bit. And I guess that makes for just an amazing race and adds a whole lot of intrigue to what is already a wonderful race.
It certainly is. And, of course, we've seen Big Energy run second in a couple of feature finals and probably a couple of the biggest that you'll have, and that is the Group 1 Melbourne Cup last year and also the Adelaide Cup. He ran fifth in the Top Gun and sixth in the Tem Lee. He won that shootout, and the fact that he's won 3 of 4 from box number 1 is a big plus for him. I know there'll be a lot of people in WA. Michelle Roma bred this greyhound, of course, the Tiamo line, and Kirsty Moore. She'd be pretty excited right now, wouldn't they?
They will be absolutely wrapped, Pete, and I'm delighted for them. And the crew at Mintbet have done a wonderful job helping to promote this race. So I want to send a shout out to all of the slot holders. In fact, it's been spectacular that everyone's jumped on board this race and they've really helped to promote the race. They've understood how things are. I think it's great that we've all been on the same team promoting racing. I think that's what this caper's all about. Pete, you and I have been on that page for a long period of time, and we've spoken to all the different slot holders at different stages on our shows and our podcasts. So to the team at Ladbrokes, obviously Tab Touch and everyone there with Morton, Total Container Solutions and Team Britain, Ram Racing, Punters HQ, Mintbet, Aaron Bain Racing and Summit Bloodstock, and also the team there at Sportsbet. Just a huge thanks for everybody for being involved in this race and for helping to promote it. And it's what it's really added is sort of the slots have had their own almost team feel to them. So it's almost been like a game of sport where everybody's got their own team that they're cheering on with their greyhounds, Pete, and that's really added something different to the race, which has helped in the build-up, and I'm sure will create amazing energy and atmosphere out there on Thursday night. And
we've seen some of these outstanding chases, as I mentioned, the Tem Lee winner, Morton, who won the Gold Bullion earlier in the year, and Hector Fawley, who won the Hume Cup, Fernando Phil the Horsham Cup, and also was in that great final of the Australian Cup recently. Such an outstanding field. A lot of these trainers making the decision to come across to Perth to set their greyhounds for this race after they were locked away by the slot holders, who have done a wonderful job in being able to get these greyhounds and put this field together to bypass the Golden Easter egg, which is on at the moment. And we saw those semi-finals there on Saturday night. I'll just quickly touch on those, Shorty, before I come back and get your final selections for the Sandgroper on Thursday night. So the Association Cup was held on, the semi-finals held on Saturday night at Wentworth Park, and the final for the Golden Easter egg, Finesse has drawn box 1, McKenna, who was outstanding, in 2, Zipping Megatron 3, Nadal Sheba in 4, Nangar Jim 5, All Natural 6, Nangar Larry 7, Marvel Zombie in box number 8. Who would you be selecting in the Golden Easter egg at this stage?
Oh, McKenna was unbelievable there last week, Pete, 29 and 29, winning that semi-final in just devastating fashion, was outstanding, winning the heat a fortnight prior. So, yeah, McKenna would absolutely go on top. And that Association Cup final is going to be absolutely first class as well, with the Flying Queenslander Val Policella taking on a Palawa King, who's been an absolute star of the staying ranks over the last 6 months or so as well. So the clash between those two star stayers is going to be another real highlight on the card there on Saturday night as well.
And the Group 3 Miata final on Saturday night at Kennington, Argyle Queen in 1, $5, Care Factor 15, 90 Mile Rose $6, Island Bale 26, Chloe Ant 8, West Isle Nugget 250, even though beaten is the favourite from box 6. Penny Magic $5, Sage to Neil. A good run, I thought, first up over the distance, $10. Would you be tipping West Isle Nugget at this stage?
Yeah, absolutely, Pete. I'll be sticking with the Nugget. Wasn't the prettiest of viewing there, to be fair, last week, but I think it had won 4 or 5 on the bounce prior to that, suited by a wide draw. Just needs to steer clear of any crowding in the early stages of the race, and if it gets out to that sort of mid to wide part of the track with a lap to go somewhere near the leaders, be pretty hard to hold out, I would have thought.
Okay, final say, your selections, and you can change and I'll change as well, Shorty. I'll give my selections first, but we'll get your thoughts on the Sandgroper final. Big Energy currently at $2.40, Morton $6, Sunset Frazier $15, Mapunga Smoky $12, Fernando Phil $13, Hector Fawley $17, Trooper Tears $6.50, Explicit $4. That's the market with Tab Touch for the Sandgroper. I'll be tipping Big Energy for Mintbet to take out the final of the Sandgroper from the Tab Touch slot runner in Moreton, and I'll put Trooper Tears in for third, Mapunga Smoky for fourth. They're my top four. They may change by Thursday. And don't forget, on Thursday, we have Tab Radio Racing and Sport. We'll have a live outside broadcast from Cannington, 6 p.m. right the way through. There'll be no other meetings covered on Tab Radio after 6, and David Shortte, Leah Ernest and myself will be out there trackside. Your top four, Shorty, for the Sandgroper final.
Yeah, look, it's far from sort of being locked in, but at first glance, box one in a big final, Big Energy's a pretty nice advantage to have. If it can just punch up and hold the rail and not get tangled up with Sunset Frazier, it's going to get a really good opportunity. I think certainly from an each-way bet perspective, Trooper Tears appeals. Just wanted to see it draw wide. It just needs to miss explicit early. If it does, I think it comes right into the race. I think that Mapunga Smoky at a price, the way the draws panned out, can absolutely be right there in the mix at a good quote. And Morton and Hector Fawley are both somewhere there in and around the place as well. If they do jam a little, Hector will be absolutely steaming at them and not ruling that dog out of hitting the frame. But just want to sort of sit down and mull it all over a little bit again. This is all sort of fairly quick over the last little bit, but one thing I can guarantee is that we're in for one hell of a race, and can't wait to catch you at the lunch on Wednesday, Pete, and then of course Thursday night out there for that live broadcast. From a WA Greyhound Racing perspective, this is as big as it gets. Can't wait to roll up the sleeves and get amongst it.
Good on you, Shorty. Thanks for your time this morning. David Shortte on Greyhound Gossip. Often pacing coming up next. It is a big week for WA Racing. The Tab Touch Western Trilogy. Thursday night at Cannington, the Sandgroper. Friday at Gloucester Park. We have the running of the Nullarbor. And then on Saturday, the running of the Quokka. The barrier draw for the Quokka on Tab Radio tomorrow morning after 8 o'clock with our live outside broadcast. The Sports Daily team will be at Ascot from 5:30 with a breakfast put on by Perth Racing. And then at Gloucester Park later in the day, just after lunch, Tim Walker will bring us the barrier draw for the Nullarbor live from Gloucester Park. That's our box draw. Big Energy in 1, Morton 2, Sunset Frazier 3, Mapunga Smoky 4, Fernando Phil 5, Hector Fawley 6, Trooper Tears 7, Explicit 8, the reserves. Uncle Tommy West on Booney. Enjoy your week. It's going to be a hell of a week with the Sandgroper on Thursday night.
Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelpline.org.au.